Hello, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now, I'm going to give you guys a quick update on Tiffany Nicole's bail hearing. Now, a lot of things emerged from the bail hearing. A lot of chilling things were said in court, and I'm just going to update you guys on that. Okay, so according to Tiffany, um, she re- she realized that Jayden Lee was missing, and then she went to the security guard to ask him, "Hey, have you seen Jayden? Because, he hasn't arrived home from school." That's when the security guard assisted Tiffany and her family with looking for Jayden. So when they questioned the transport driver, Tiffany insisted that the child was not dropped off, although the transport driver did say that I did leave this boy at home. I swear to God, I left him at home. Tiffany insisted you did not leave him at home. The security saw the child being dropped off at 4 p.m. And also, the transport driver had a child who also used the transport that he drops off after Jayden. So he went and fetched the child, and the child confirmed that they did drop Jayden off. So it was Jayden and then their child that was being dropped off. So their child said that the transport or the bus or whatever they were driving in could not be opened from the inside. This van, you can't open it from the inside. That's why the boy actually opened the door for Jayden, and Jayden left the transport and he went into the complex. The security also said that Jayden was wearing a red jacket, which is true, because the school, Royal College, the school uniform has red in it. Okay. Now, um, then, now also something to note, the security guard says that he wasn't informed about Jayden's disappearance. He only found out after he left after his duty or after his shift. He was then notified about the boy. So that means Jayden wasn't being looked for, that whole time. He only was looked for later that evening. Right. So they were then driving around searching for the child. So Tiffany was driving around with the police searching for the child. Then they searched until past midnight. They all of them searched together, and then the police said, "Listen, we have really done the best we could for the day. We'll see you in the morning." And the security then left the family, and Tiffany and her mom and everybody else went to the mother's place in Florida. Now, Tiffany then, according to the security guard, returned at 4 a.m. And also she returned, someone brought her, and the car was an unknown car to the security. Right, so Tiffany claimed that she was just going to take a bath and go back to the police station to look for Jayden. Now, during that time when Tiffany was at the flat, or when she was on her way to the flat, the security asked her to assist him. He's going to search the cars. So when people, now, right in the morning, people are leaving for work. So he wanted to search cars before they left the complex, because obviously it seems like Jayden is somewhere in this complex. Tiffany then profusely refused to help assisting, and she insisted that I have to get to the police station after taking a bath. So at about 5:30, the bolt was outside waiting for Tiffany, and she needed to go. She told the security, "I can't help you, I have to go." So according to the security, he didn't really see the car. Maybe the lights were dimmed or the lights were off. And shortly after Tiffany left, the security was approached by a resident of the flats that said that she found Jayden Lee. Now, Jayden Lee was laying just close to his mother's apartment, about 8 meters from his mother's apartment, and the security described him as not moving, and also his eyes were not blinking. So the security thought, okay, maybe the boy was getting cold and maybe he's sleeping outside. So the security moved him to a much more warmer place, just so he can figure out what's going on. Now, then he ended up covering the child, and also he saw that, or they felt his pulse, and there was no pulse. Okay, so just before the applicant left, which is Tiffany, just before 5:30, someone left just right before her. So it's almost at the same time. That's when they left, because this person goes to work at this hour. So that person said that there was no body. So according to me, what I'm seeing here, guys, is that Tiffany left her apartment and someone else right after Tiffany left placed Jayden there, because right after Tiffany and this person left, that's when the body was found. So that person waited for Tiffany to leave and obviously maybe check, and this is all alleged, okay, and maybe checked and looked around, and she gave him the signal, or the red light, to place the body there. And I also believe the reason the body was found so close to the flat, this person had to hurry up because people are leaving for work. So that's the only way that Jayden's body was going to get outside of the flat, was to quickly place it outside. That is just according to my theory, and it's all alleged. Now the family then oh so right, so the family arrived on the scene and they took Jayden to a Discovery Clinic. Now, on the way to the clinic, they saw a police van and they stopped the police, and the police then escorted them to Discovery. I think that is their way of getting assistance quicker, because if the medical center sees that, hey, these people are with the police, they will be assisted quickly. Now, on arrival with the boy, they declared him deceased. Now, at about 8:30, the police arrived, and the police saw injuries on his chin, forehead. So he had a cut on his forehead, and he also had minor injuries, which includes injuries to his neck, his arms, and his right leg. He also had blood on his lips. Okay. And that's when, you know, for me, what stood out when this was read in the court is that Tiffany got emotional during this time. I think she got triggered during this time. That was the only time for me she got emotional, was when they described Jayden Lee, how he looked and whatnot. Now, uh, a while after, Jayden was declared dead and whatnot, the police then went back to the complex, and they cordoned off the crime scene. Now, investigators arrived. The flair of community was chanting, um, um, protesting there, demanding justice. Oh, the place was obviously crowded. And then, there was pictures being taken by investigators, detectives, and then the dog handler arrived at about 10 minutes to 2 p.m. Now, when the dog is trained in sniffing blood, or identifying places where blood is. So he's trained in blood, and that means he will identify where blood is, right? So obviously he sniffed a piece of clothing of the boy, and then the dog went straight up the stairs right to unit 13, which is Tiffany Meek's apartment. Now the dog then went to the kitchen and the dining room, and there was no blood found. Then the dog moved to the first bedroom, and when the dog sniffed the pillow, he went straight to the pillow and sniffed the pillow, and he reacted positive. Now, on the pillow, there was blood. The blood was first described as droplets of blood, but later, Noven Naidu, Tiffany's lawyer, looked at the pictures and he said, this is not droplets, this is like a smudged look. So that tells me that blood was probably being wiped off with some substance. That's why it created like a smudge look. And I think the person who did that didn't realize, oh, there's still a little stain on the pillow. So the dog identified the blood. The dog also identified the mattress as, that there was blood on the mattress, and they saw the mattress. Now, I want you guys to note here, the mattress is the one that was identified with blood. That means there was no mention of the duvet or the sheets and whatnot. So that means, once again, big cover up. The person tried to cover up the blood. So that means the bed was probably covered with new or clean bedding. Right. So, also what I want you to note is that there was no blood in the second bedroom. Right. Also, they took the blood, they took the pillow, and also the blood on the pillow, and they compared it to a controlled sample of Jayden Lee's uh, a controlled sample of blood from Jayden Lee. Okay, so they took that blood from the pillow and they compared it to this controlled sample, and it matched. Now, in the first room, there was a school bag found in front of the wardrobe, and also the red jacket was hanging by the wardrobe. I also want you guys to note here, the police made a link between this. Then this is why the apartment became suspicious. Okay, the police does say that he does tell the prosecutor the reason the apartment became suspicious was because of that red jacket. So first, when they searched the apartment, obviously the time the scene was cordoned off and whatnot, they went into her apartment and they just saw, it was just a surface search. It wasn't in-depth search. The dog wasn't there, whatnot. So that means the time the police saw the red jacket and they remembered what the security guard said, that is what made the apartment suspicious. That is why they ended up calling the dog handler and whatnot. That's when the blood and all of those things were identified. Right. Because a lot of people, just like the prosecutor was asked, why specifically Unit 13? Because Jayden was laying, yes, close to Unit 13, but there could have been other units that could have been searched. But then the police said, no, the reason we searched this unit was because of that red jacket. Right, that means the red jacket and the bag, that means the child did make it to this apartment. Right. Obviously, now the story doesn't match when Tiffany says her child never made it to her apartment. Right, so um, according to Tiffany, she left her mother's home at 12 minutes past 5 that morning. Right, but the security guard said that she arrived at 4 a.m. So according to Tiffany, she arrived at 22 minutes past 5 at the complex and she left at 47 minutes past 5. Right. Now, also what they said in the court, that means if Tiffany left the time that she claimed she left, then she would have seen the body. However, the neighbor that left at 5:30 didn't see the body. So that body was placed there between 5:30 and between 5:30 and 6, right? Or 5:30 and 5:47. So that is why I'm saying yet again, allegedly, it's all alleged. I'm saying that Tiffany, um, she left her apartment and someone shortly placed the body outside of her apartment. Now, immediately after she left, the child was seen there. Okay, so that is what the security says, that literally minutes after Tiffany left, Jayden was seen. The resident came to the security. Now, according to the security guard, Tiffany left in a hurry. Right. But according to the police officer, Tiffany never told him that she left in a hurry. To him, it sounded like she was just leaving, but she wasn't leaving in a hurry. And also, according to the police, Tiffany went to her mother's place. So she told the police, no, I just left because I went to my mother's place after taking a bath. Now, to the security guard, she claimed that she left to the police station. Remember when she was saying, I can't help you search these cars. I have to go to the police station. I have to hurry. But according to the police officer, in her statement, she said she went to her mother's place. And that's it for now. The court did take a short recess, and I will be back updating you guys on the rest of the hearing. Stay tuned and let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below.